Mr. Secretary, yesterday, I don't know if you had a chance to see some of the hearing in the House of Representatives regarding some of the tech companies operating in the United States. And I'll read you some of the comments they made when asked whether or not China is stealing information from them. Apple CEO Tim Cook said he had no personal knowledge about Chinese technology theft. Jeff Bezos has no firsthand experience beyond knockoff products. Google CEO said that they didn't have any experience, later had clarified that remark. Can you talk a little bit about tech and China and what you see, what's happening? Is it true that there's no Chinese technology theft of U.S. companies?
Well, they need to get out more. I mean, there's a long history, decades-long history of Chinese intellectual property threat, including against technologies. And I hear it. It's sometimes the case you hear it privately because there's continued threats made against their businesses that are operating not only in China, but threats to businesses that are actually working in other parts of Asia and Southeast Asia as well. The Chinese Communist Party is completely willing to bully and to threaten to get companies to behave.
Do you work with these tech companies at State Department on intellectual property theft, cyber attack, those kinds of things?
We do. We work closely with them, and on the side of protecting cyber, we've actually had some good work where we've worked alongside each other on important projects where we have reduced risk, and so I thank them for that. But the idea that anyone in the tech space could not know of what the Chinese Communist Party is attempting to steal and the cyber attacks they're making seems incredulous.
In March of this year, as it related to some Chinese misinformation and the dissemination of misinformation when it came to the COVID-19 propaganda China was spreading, I suggested the National Security Council set up a task force at the White House to counter that disinformation. Are the tech companies doing enough to combat Chinese disinformation?
No, there's always more that they can do. There's more we can do as well. On that particular front, I must say, I actually think the world mounted a very effective counter-campaign against the Chinese disinformation. As I've traveled and as I've spoken to my counterparts, I think the world understands that this virus emanated from China, from Wuhan in particular, and I think the world understands that the Chinese Communist Party showed up with PPE that didn't work and covered up what they knew about that when they could have prevented this spread. So I think the Chinese efforts at disinformation there actually failed in this case.
The Taiwan situation, I wanted to just ask a question about bilateral trade agreements and opportunities for Taiwan. Yesterday I sent a letter to U.S. Trade Representative Lighthizer, Ambassador Lighthizer, asking for the U.S. to begin engaging in a bilateral trade agreement with Taiwan. Can you talk a little bit about the administration's pursuit of such an agreement?
Senator Gardner, I'd prefer to leave that to Ambassador Lighthizer to talk about that. We're aware that there's great interest in this. The State Department will have its part in that, but our primary work with respect to Taiwan is different from the trade piece of this. We've been diligent about making sure that we honor the commitments that we have made to the people of Taiwan, including approving arms sales that are important so that the Taiwanese can engage in the activities that they need to do so they can protect their democracy.
And the administration's goal of complete, verifiable, irreversible denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula remains?
It does.